Hey everybody, Tommy here, World at War Comics, and I just want to remind everyone as we get into my top 10 for both Marvel and DC, we currently do have our Kickstarter for Kingsville issue number 3 that is live. We have 13 more days, and we could really use your support hitting that goal in order to make issue 3 a done deal. The idea is that we will finish it over January, February, and ship it out early March, but we need your help to get there. Dan Zay has already done 10 pages. We got about 14 more pages to go, and this will help us finish. Everything else I'm funding on my own just because I want to get the story out. But issue 3, we're calling it. You don't have enemies if they're dead. Things are getting really hot with Kingsville and the Alliance for Global Safety, and you don't want to miss this action-packed issue, man. Lots of fighting, lots of warfare, and it'll blow your mind what happens at the end of this issue as we lead into issue 4, which will end this arc. So check it out. Head over to Kickstarter. The link is below. Yeah, I think you're going to really love this one, and we could use your support getting us across the finish line. All right, everyone, without further ado, here is my top 10 for both DC and Marvel. Thank you. Have a great new year, and we will talk to you soon. Hello, everybody. Tommy here, and I got my top 10 of Marvel and DC that I'm going to give to you. So I'll do DC first, then I'll do Marvel, and I'll show you the top 10 that I have on my pull list that I've really enjoyed this year. I hope that you like this too. And let me know your thoughts, man. Do you agree with my top 10 for each Marvel and DC? After this, we'll also do a video where we look at the top 10 indie comics of the year, but that'll be a completely separate video. We want to keep indies by themselves because there is a lot to choose from and there is a lot of really good stuff. Personally, one of my favorite comics is in DC and in Marvel, but most of the comics I'm reading right now are on the indie side, and there is a lot of really good stuff out there. But it doesn't mean Marvel and DC weren't good either. So here goes my top 10, starting with DC. This was a lot of fun, man. I am more of a DC guy than a Marvel guy. So I'm just going to throw that out there. I read a lot of DC. I try to keep up with as much Marvel as possible. But being more of a DC guy, I do spend more time reading DC than I do Marvel. But I love them both. All right, without further ado, here is my top 10 for DC Comics, starting with number 10. And that would be Green Arrow. So we started with Joshua Williamson, Anamake Nwalpan. He was the artist, and it just moved over to Chris Condon with Montos on art. I'm a big fan of Montos. I really like the Chris Condon issues from 18 through. This is kind of the issue where the reins were handed over from Joshua to Chris. But man, it's been a lot of fun. Oliver Quinn really going back to his roots. More of a detective in the streets doing his thing. I enjoyed what Joshua did with the family coming in, but I really like this version of Green Arrow. But Green Arrow has been a lot of fun. So this is my number 10 for my top 10 for DC. All right, that goes into number 9, and this has been a lot of fun. This is Plastic Man No More, written by Christopher Cantwell. With art by Alex Linz and Jacob Edgard. This has been a lot of fun. I love Plastic Man. It's unfortunate that we don't get a whole lot with Plastic Man. I know we've had some runs before, but I'm really enjoying this one. A lot of fun, a lot of humor, obviously some sadness too. It's interesting what he goes through without anybody else really paying much attention or understanding. But it's been a lot of fun. 4 issues so far, and I have enjoyed them all. But Plastic Man would be my number 9. All right, getting into my number 8. And again, I put this on there even though we only got 3 issues. And this goes for the entire Absolute universe, but I've enjoyed all of the Absolute universe, including Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman. But I have to say my favorite so far is Batman, so I'm throwing this on there. Mr. Scott Snyder, Dick Dakota on art, but this has been just a lot of fun. I tell you what Kelly Thompson is doing with Hayden Sherman over at Absolute. Wonder Woman has been a lot of fun. And then obviously what Aaron is doing over at Absolute Superman has been fun too. But Batman so far has been my favorite. So that would be my number 8. All right, let's get into number 7. And this is a one shot. So I usually don't add one shots, but this was so much fun. I had to do it. I hope we do more. And I hope that the same writer comes back, Kyle Sparks, because This was one of the funnest books that I read of the year. This is Lobo, the cancellation special with Kyle Hotz on art. The art is amazing. The story is a ton of fun. And with all the news that have come out about Lobo being added to Superwoman, and obviously them talking about possibly doing a movie with Jason Momoa as Lobo. I'm all in. But this comic was so much fun. If you haven't read this yet, get your hands on it because it is awesome, man, especially if you're a Lobo fan. All right. So that was my number seven. Now we come to my number six, and that would be Chip Zdarsky's run of Batman with one of the best artists in all of comics, I think, Jorge Jimenez. But man, this has been a lot of fun too. I've actually really enjoyed the last four issues more so than I have in a while. But Chip Zdarsky's been on this run for a while, and it's been a lot of fun. Cannot wait till the omnibus comes out. But this is my number six. And I have to tell you, Commander Star in this particular issue was a lot of fun. Hope we get to see a lot more, but that was pretty cool. All right, then we get into my number five. And my number five is another Batman title, and this one is by Rodney Barnes. This has been so freaking amazing, man. Full Moon, if you're not collecting, one, the covers are awesome, glow in the dark, a lot of fun, but man, this like dark noir of Batman has been just amazing. If you're not reading this, Rodney Barnes is really the king of horror. And then we got Steven Subic on art, and it's just dark, it's gritty, and it's a lot of fun. It's definitely a black label, so there's a lot of blood and guts, and you'll see why when you read it. But I have to tell you, this has been one of my favorite Batman runs of the year so far. All right, we start to get into the top four here. So we got Superman next. And that was by Joshua Williamson, one of my favorite writers over at DC, with art by Dan Mora. So Jorge Jimenez, Dan Mora, just incredible artist, man. I love it. I love it. But yeah, the run, especially the last few issues, have been a lot of fun. Again, I'm not a huge fan of Lois Lane having powers, but and Joshua Williamson just does a good job weaving that into that. But this has been a lot of fun since it started. So we'll see where that goes. A lot of rumors on who the new Superman writer is going to be. So we'll have to wait and see. We know Philip Kennedy Johnson is coming back. I hope that's a long run. I loved his run of Action Comics. So let's see what happens. Fingers crossed. All right. Then we get into my number three, and this was the five part series of Jay Garrett Flash, written by Jeremy Adams with Diego Orlategue. I hope I pronounced that right. I apologize. But on art, the art is absolutely insane, and this story is so much fun. Jeremy Adams is just on the top of his game. I personally have not read anything that I dislike from him. I think he is the top DC Comics writer. That's my personal opinion. And it's a close second by Philip Kennedy Johnson. Of course, Joshua Williamson. There's a lot of great writers, but I am loving everything Jeremy Adams does. All right, we get into the top two. Probably no surprise if you follow me already. I'm a huge Green Lantern fan. So I'm going to start with the 12-part issue by Philip Kennedy Johnson with Montos on art. And there was some other folks that had jumped in and jumped out as well on the art side. But this team and this 12-part series was a lot of fun. I love John Stewart. And I was super happy with this 12-part series. I wish it would have continued. I think there's a lot more story to tell from Philip Kennedy Johnson when it comes to John Stewart, but it's been great. He's also I've written with Jeremy Adams with some stuff recently where John Stewart comes over to Green Lantern in the main title. But man, I would love to see more John Stewart comics, to be quite honest. But that gets me to my number one, and I've probably already given it away. But my favorite comic book of the year so far, with one day to go, is Green Lantern by Jeremy Adams, with Harmonica on art, who is killing it on art, by the way. And again, there's been some other artists too. I apologize, but for the most part, it's been Jeremy Adams and Harmonica. And I've had both of them on my podcast, including Philip Kennedy Johnson. So you could go ahead and do a quick search and be able to find all of them. But yeah, check this out. This has been incredible. I think this is the best comic at DC right now, personally. Again, I'm a big Green Lantern fan. But man, the story that Jeremy Adams is telling with the Green Lanterns just gets better and better and better. And issue 18 is a banger. So if you haven't picked it up or you're not following it, you need to, because he is absolutely killing it right now at DC Comics with Green Lantern. And I tell you, everything he's writing, I'm absolutely loving. All right, so that is my top 10 for DC. Let me know in the comments, do you agree with that top 10? What am I missing that I should have on there? Again, I know the Absolute books have been a lot of fun, but again, we're in 2 and 3 issues of those. I think it'd be unfair to throw those in there without more of the story and more of the development. Although Absolute Batman has been so much fun, I had to throw it in. But I am loving all 3 of those. So let me know your thoughts below. A lot of fun. All right. To get the big 2 out of the way, let's jump over to Marvel. I don't read as many Marvel. Obviously, I have my favorites, but to be honest, this was a little bit harder putting together, but I did. And so here we go. I got my comics right here. All right, let's start with my number 10. I love Joe Kelly. I've had him on the podcast before. The news that he'll be taking over ASM is, I think, really good news because I do think he is a great creator. But my next one would be Deadpool Wolverine World War III. This has been a lot of fun. You got Adam Kubert on art, which is absolutely insane throughout this entire title. But if you want to have a fun title that is fast paced, lots of action, this is it right here. And I have really enjoyed it. Look at that cover as well. Just a lot of fun. All right, so that's my number 10. Getting into number 9, we got Storm. So this is a newer one. Again, not as many issues. I normally don't do issues like this that don't have at least 5 or 6 issues. But I didn't have a lot to pick from Marvel because I don't read Marvel as often. But I am enjoying Storm, and the art on this is incredible. So Murewa Oyodel and Lucas Werneck on art. This has been awesome. I apologize if I got the names wrong. I do watch Black Comic Lords, and I know Marua has been on several times talking about Storm, but this comic has been a lot of fun, and the art is insane. And this cover is next level. Just incredible cover. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So I've really enjoyed Storm. That gets us into my number 8, and we get into the Ultimate Universe. And I have as my number 8, it's going to be Ultimate Black Panther. I am enjoying the Ultimate world that has been created. And actually, I kind of prefer it over the 616 stuff right now. But this has been a lot of fun. Brian Hill on writing duties, Stefano Cassie on art, and the art is a lot of fun too. But if you're not reading the Ultimate line, you should be. Black Panther should be one of those titles you're reading. It is really good. All right, we get into my number 7. And I've tried all the new X-Men stuff. The only one that I've really kept is the Uncanny X-Men. I am enjoying it. I think Gail Simone's a good writer, and I have a lot of her stuff. Her Red Sonja is some of my favorite stuff, but she's done so much in the industry. And X-Men has been a lot of fun. David Marquez on art. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this run. Let me know your thoughts on X-Men as well. But this is the only one that I've kept reading. I've tried them all. Again, some aren't just for me, but the Uncanny has been. All right, then we get into the next one, which might surprise some people, but this has just been a fun comic. I've really enjoyed it, and that is Spider-Boy by Dan Slott, art by Paco Medina. And this has just been a lot of fun. What a great twist on Spider-Man. Again, now we're getting, Spider-Girl, Spider all kinds of stuff because of the popularity of this, but it's just a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. Let me know too if you're enjoying this as well. This is the Halloween special that was free that I picked up, but I do have the other ones too, and I am enjoying this title. All right, the next one, I had a blast, man. If you love Doom, you got to read this one shot. This is from Sanford Greene, Jonathan Hickman. But this thing has been amazing. If you haven't read this yet, you're making a huge mistake if you're a Doom fan, especially with all the news coming out with who will be playing Doom in the movies. But this is a lot of fun. If you want to know who Doom is, check this out. I actually had a blast, and man, it's been a lot of fun. All right, getting into my top 3. These are the ones that are in my pull list, and I do have them every single Wednesday that they're available. They're in my pull list, and these are the three that I read more religiously. The other ones, I pick and choose as I see them in the comic shop, and I'll pick them up. But these are the only three titles that I have in my pull list right now that I'm really enjoying. And that would be my number three, which would be Ryan North. Fantastic Four. I've had him on the podcast. I really like Ryan North. I think he's a great writer. And his run on Fantastic Four, he's at 27, 28 issues, has been a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying it. And you should be checking this out too. You should be checking this out too. Just a lot of fun, man. The family's back together again. The kids are back. It's just been really cool. So if you're not reading Fantastic Four, you need to jump on that. I believe that is worthy to be in your pull box. All right, the top two for Marvel. Here we go. My number two is going to be, what do you think? Ultimate Spider-Man, Jonathan Hickman on writing duties, Stephen Cummings Marco Checchetto on art. This has been a lot of fun. I'm having a blast with this comic. Ultimate Spider-Man, it's everything that we kind of wanted from a Spider-Man comic with Mary Jane, the kids, the family. And I'm loving this Ultimate Universe. So we'll see what Joe Kelly does with ASM and the 616. They gave fans what they wanted, and it's one of the top selling comic books. So maybe something to think about, but I am enjoying this. You should have this on your pull list. I think they're at issue 11 now, which has been great. I would love to see some more action, but knowing Jonathan Hickman and his style, he's a great world builder, bringing forth a lot of really cool characters. But I'm hoping that we see a little more action with Spider-Man, but this has been a lot of fun. I love Ben and everything that he represents. It's just been really cool. Awesome comic book. All right, my number one, and if you know me, you probably know what this is already, but if you don't, it's going to be, boom, Incredible Hulk, Philip Kennedy Johnson, Nick Klein on art. Nick Klein is absolutely killing it on art, by the way, too. But this comic has been a lot of fun, lots of ups and downs, a lot of emotion. But that's Philip Kennedy Johnson. If you love him the way I do and his writing style, incredible. This is my top comic book for 2024 at Marvel. This is the one that I will not miss. It's in my pull box as well. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So congrats to Jeremy Adams for being number one for me in World at War Comics, and Philip Kennedy Johnson for the Incredible Hulk on the Marvel side. But those are my top picks for both Marvel and DC. Another video will be coming where we go over indie comics as a whole, so get ready for that. But for the top two, these are my top 10 for DC and Marvel. I would love to hear what you think, so in the comments, let me know. Do you agree with this list? Do you have a different list? Are there comics that I should be reading that weren't on my list? Let me know. Let's have some back and forth and check that out. But in the meantime, I hope that you all have an amazing New Year's. Be safe, and man, we'll check you out next year. All right, without further ado, have a good one, everybody. Talk soon.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.